Let's Talk Connection. Welcome, most extreme menage a trois violence you ever experienced here in the Extreme Three-Way Dance. I'm JT, joined by Jenny and Matt, as always, as we travail down this course of extreme that started in February of 1994 and has brought us here today toward the end of March 2000. This podcast is simulcast, audio and video, audio on all podcast applications except those losers over at Spotify under North-South Connection, and video right here on YouTube. Check out everything we have to offer. Of course, just recently got through Clash in Paris. We got WrestlePalooza on the doorstep. We do previews of every PLE. We do post shows. And then we have all this classic wrestling content sprinkled in as well. We've also been paying tribute to the year 1995, wrestling, pop culture, and beyond. You can check that out under the logo and NOSO and logo and what was I trying to say? Logo and tag, I guess.
I have no idea where you're going with this.
NOSO 95. Anyway, how are you?
Good. How are you,
reeling from you fiddle fucking over your words there, but I'm all right.
I believe that was the genre of music of The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Fiddle fucking?
Fiddle fucking, yeah.
Yes, that's my favorite genre.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got 3 episodes of ECW television to get through tonight, so we're going to go ahead and fire it up with the Hardcore TV from March 25th, 2000. We open up with our closing segment from our last episode on TNN, and we get opening animation, and then we're going to pick right up where we left off on TNN, and that is an exclusive tag team title match for Hardcore TV as Mike Awesome and Raven take on the Impact Players for the ECW tag team titles. Awesome tosses Storm across the ring, catches Just Incredible on the top rope and suplexes him as well. We officially finally get a name for James Vandenberg of WCW fame. He's kind of has been like a mystery priest for a while. And here he'll be now known as the Sinister Minister. So we'll be calling him that.
I'm still calling him Daddy Mitchell, probably.
Daddy?
Yeah.
Not quite Father Jim yet. That's
nope.
in TNA. Sinister Minister, Daddy Jim, whatever you want to call him. Raven tags in and batters Credible, meets him with the snot rag. Awesome tags back in, gets a splash on Credible for 2. Awesome misses a charge in the corner. Credible tags Storm, but Awesome ducks a double clothesline, takes out both men with a spear. Jeff Jones is here, sets up a table at ringside. Awesome loads up Storm, but Credible saves his partner with the cane. Storm slips down into a neck breaker. The Impact Players double up, quick tag, work over Awesome with strikes, keeping him controlled in the corner. Awesome counters Arana to a sit-out powerbomb, tags Raven, who comes in and cleans house on the champs. Raven drives Credible into a chair with a drop toe hold for 2 as Awesome clothesline Storm to the floor. Raven hits a stunner, but Dawn breaks up the pin. In comes Francine for a cat fight. Credible slings Raven outside. Francine shoves Dawn's head violently into the bottom turnbuckle, hits a Bronco Buster. Storm then grabs Francine and loads up a pile driver, but Awesome saves her. Storm leaps to the top, but Awesome crotches him, hits a Razor's Edge for 2. Credible smacks Raven, but Raven goes low and clotheslines him. Awesome goes up top. It's an awesome splash on Credible for 2. Awesome then throws Credible hard to the corner, to the floor, flies into Jason with a springboard shoulder block like a maniac. Storm hammers Raven in the ring as Francine is in and throws powder at Dawn, but she ducks and the powder hits Raven. And that allows Storm to hit a super kick and Credible to roll up Raven for the pin. It's a pretty fun little sprint. They didn't really slow down. Everyone got some shine. The new ministry group is gaining some chemistry. If this is a group that's going to stay together, we'll see. But having Sinister Minister, Raven, Awesome, it's a fun little group. Hopefully he doesn't blow them apart because we're just getting going. And it seems like there's already maybe an issue in here. So we'll see. The players find a way to escape as usual. Dawn gives the assist in a fun TV match, Matt. I went 3 stars.
Yeah, I only went 2.5 on it. This was kind of missing something for me. Like, it was still fine, but
in a can of tuna, maybe.
I think that's probably the biggest culprit as to why this wasn't as great as it could have been. But yeah, it's just I wonder if it was like because of the weird heel matchup that this was. It was kind of weird to me, but I don't know. We've seen better out of both of these teams. I thought the finish was a little weird too with the powder straight out of fucking 1985. That was a weird choice to do this in ECW.
You should say 1995, meaning the movie Powder.
Right. Well, that is what I meant. So, joke's on you.
I think it was 1995.
So, yeah, I mean, it was fine. I'm still curious to see where this awesome Raven team goes. That's super interesting to me. But this match was kind of just whatever. We know both of these teams are capable of more. So I went 2.5 on it. Jenny, I was kind of disappointed by this.
It's interesting because I did the 2.5 as well. I think I liked it a little bit more than you, Maddie. Yeah, I was kind of thrown off by the ending as well. Like that was an extreme amount of powder that she used. Like
Really
she was going to hit everybody in the ring with that much powder. I don't know.
and the crowd.
Just like
Yeah.
like how much did she use? Girl, you don't need that much. But I thought their little cat fight was fun. The Bronco Buster and the corner. And where does Francine fit in with the ministry at all? You know?
Well, that's what we heard from her. She's pissed about not getting the credit for these shenanigans.
Yeah.
But if
Raven,
Raven,
group's not for long with awesome line. Now, Minister maybe with Francine and Raven. I don't know, but
Right.
I don't think the awesome component's gonna last very long. It doesn't seem like it.
Right.
like Awesome doesn't seem like that kind of guy that's gonna get like hoodwinked by a Raven or by a minister. You know,
it felt like it was just a way to get through the pay-per-view after the RVD stuff and Sabu stuff. Like it felt like it was just like, all right, let's just do this, get through the show. You know, we heard the notes from Rocco right about it that they were just kind of screwed up after the New Jack bump, and they were just kind of rushing, and you know the booking was rushed because of RVD's injury. So it felt like us to survive and then regroup. So I have a vibe that these guys are just
like he feels weirdly out of place, which is a weird thing to say about the guy who's the world champion, but it's just super weird.
He hasn't had a real rival besides Tanaka and Spike Dudley. Like,
No.
If you had said that in September, that those are his main opponents, you would have been like, oh, what a shitty reign. But the reign's been great. He just hasn't really, you know, it's because the Spike match has far exceeded expectations.
Right.
You know, so.
But it doesn't stop Mike Awesome from balling out in all of these,
Right.
except for when he actually leaves the ring when he loses. But I'm at 2.5 on this. It's a good opener.
All right, after the break, Steve Corino sidles to the ring with Jack Victory. He's got a cowbell. Joey talks about Corino's partnership with Cyrus that has played out here in Salem. Of course, we are back in the Ice Palace. Corino grabs a mic and says, Salem sucks, not me. We get a loud balls chant as Corino says he was a victim of a crime at Living Dangerously. They witnessed him destroy Dusty Rhodes, beat him around the building for 12 minutes. It was planned out to be the greatest night of his life, but a certain referee stuck his nose in yet again. And Corino turns and steps to referee H.G. Loke, who's in the ring. He says he's waited since he was 8 to be in a ring and destroy a legend like Dusty Rhodes, but Loke stepped in the way of him fulfilling his destiny. Loke is training to be what he is, a pro wrestler. But because of his smart aleck mouth, Dusty Rhodes got 53 stitches and is now called Stardust. Every day Loke gets into the building, he'll have to look over his shoulder because he'll screw with him every day. Loke says he ain't afraid of Corino because Dusty kicked his ass, New Jack kicked his ass, and if Salem doesn't mind, I'll kick your ass too. The crowd is fired up for HG as Corino says if Loke is so full of piss and vinegar and wants a shot at Corino, he wouldn't dirty his hands with him if he was the last jabroni in ECW. Corino says he's not going to let down the public, so tonight Loke gets to mix it up with his new ghetto superstar, Chili Willy. Out comes Chili Willy. Joey says he's made a name for himself in Virginia and the South. It compares him, of course, to Thunderbolt Patterson. So, guys, on a all right, well, give me your thoughts on Corino, and then on the casual racism scale, where are Joey's comments? And I guess Corino's comments as well. Being the ghetto superstar, of course, he's Thunderbolt Patterson. You know, I don't know why he's from Virginia and dances. I don't know, but anyway, Jenny, what were your initial thoughts on Chili Willy's arrival before we get to the match?
Chili Willy is quite the name. I saw it on the spreadsheet that we use. I was like, who the fuck is this?
Was he what you expected?
Kind of, yeah. I got a little bit of Too Cold Scorpio vibes as well. I don't know if that makes me racist either, but hopefully not. The ref interaction here with Corino is very good. Like, because I think our guy is really healing it up, and he loves doing this, and he's very good at it. Stardust is very funny, but I don't know about a rando ref feud here.
Well, it feels like maybe this guy's training. I'm guessing. I think they say that, right? He's training to be a wrestler, so it feels like it could be a soft transition for him to like get into the ring. You know.
It's just weird since he just fought Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah.
This is his follow-up, but I'm willing to see where it goes, and then just bringing out this character of Chili Willy was, let's see, maybe smart on his part. I don't know, Maddie.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Jenny where like it's real weird that he's fucking Carino's feuding with a fucking referee like weeks after having a match with Dusty Rhodes. That's a little weird, but like everything in this was pretty good. Like Carino was on fire as he always is. Loke was good in his role here as being the referee that's full of piss and vinegar, which I guess is going to be his gimmick, which is kind of interesting. So it's definitely a little weird that he goes from Carino to from Dusty to referee, but like if anybody can make it work at this point, I think it's Carino.
That's what I think. They're probably looking at like Carino can get this guy over because he's so
Right.
good,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they can, if that's the goal, to launch
Right.
him as a wrestler. And I like for once, I guess he's not like a coward. Like he's a ref, yes, but he's training, so he feels a little confident.
Yeah.
You know,
He's one of those rare referees who actually has a set of balls on him and is not afraid to fight. So that's interesting to me. So we'll see where this goes.
I was going to ask if that was uncommon for a ref to be like training to be a wrestler. Like I feel like they're not quite wrestlers, if I'm being honest.
I think it's happened. It must have happened at some point, I would imagine. I'm sure, but
usually I feel like it goes the other way. Kind of you wind down, you become a ref or whatever.
Right.
But I do feel like in a place like ECW, it's like all hands on deck. So they're like, this guy's training. Let's throw him in the ring to get some experience in the ring or whatever, and use them. I guess I don't know.
Especially now with the roster as fucking thin as it is, you need bodies. So.
All right, well, that brings us to the match. So that is HG Loke versus Chili Willy. Willy attacks at the bell, but Loke ducks and hammers away. Chili lands a hard lariat. Plays to the fan, shakes his ass, stomps away. Willy hammers away, hits a Falcon Arrow. Stomps some more as Joey says HG's in over his head. He tries to fire back, but Willy lands a hard elbow to the face. He starts to mess with HG. He's dancing. Carino lands a couple jabs. Willy slams HG heads up top, but HG grabs his balls, slams him down, and then stomps away and hits a nice side kick. HG slams Willy, goes to the middle rope, but misses an elbow. Carino throws Willy the cowbell, but Loke stops him with a kick and then pelts Willy with the bell and covers and counts his own pin. Why not? He's the ref, I guess, of the match. So it's kind of a match. It's kind of a fight. It's a little bit of nonsense. Kind of a tough showing for Willy. Makes his debut and eats a loss. But that said, it's not like a real loss because, again, it's a cowbell. Loke counts himself, so it's kind of like whatever. Carino's befuddled. Matt, I went 2 stars. I mean, it's just kind of TV fodder. It was more of a segment than a match, but
I mean, he's his own referee. That's one less person you have to fucking pay. It's great.
Yeah, well, no one Heyman, that might be why he's doing this.
Right.
All right,
100%. So, I mean,
ref his own match.
Yeah, I mean, look, this wasn't much, but it was still entertaining. I went 2 1/4 on it. I will say the cowbell shot was fucking great. Like that looked great, sounded great.
And we needed more cowbell.
Yeah, more exactly right. And oh boy, and Chili Willy
closing song for tonight.
Yeah,
yep.
Chili Willy did sell it pretty well, so that was fun. But
yeah.
I mean, it's a 2 1/4 match. It's probably more entertaining than it deserved to be. But yeah, I'm kind of here for the pissed off referee counting his own falls. So we'll see where this goes. It's interesting to me, Jenny.
He could work a little bit. He surprised me. I expected a lot more fumbling, maybe nervousness, or I don't know. But they kind of pulled together a little bit of a match. Not too bad. Not too bad. I was like, well, okay, that's fine. He's learning. He's in school. He can do it. So I ended up kind of being kind of a mark for a ref by the end of the match. And, when your Willy is chilly, I feel like it doesn't have a good showing. You need a warm Willy.
You could say he shrunk under the.
Yeah, he was a little shriveled in this, but fun to watch. He likes to dance around, and he did sell the cowbell pretty well. Popped for counting his own pin. I really liked that. I thought that was very cute. So I did the 2 stars as well.
Chili Willy, he actually stayed in the ring afterwards because Chili Willy won't go home.
I'm glad you got some shame in your voice as you said that.
A lot.
Oh, I knew it was bad, but I still had to say it.
Louis dangerously heads to the ring with Elektra, Wild Bill Wiles, or Beautiful Billy, as some may call him. C-Dub Anderson and Eric Watts as the new DA continues to grow. Elektra has the mic, says she's here to show everyone what has crashed Louis' website all week, but the loudest section of the building will get to see it. They play to the crowd, but then she says, of course, the ugly, sad fans don't get to see anything. The only people who see her body are CW, Billy, Eric, and her boss, Lou.
Okay.
So, sounds like it's orgy time. And
only those four dudes. Okay.
I know.
Elektra puts a big jacket on, and Joey says she must not realize the pictures are online. Pretty funny. This is what a crew. Lou takes the mic. He does his bit. He's getting booed, and he says, "This is the worst town I've ever been to." And Joey goes, "Have you ever been to Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania?" That poor town is taking a shit kicking for no reason. Jim Thorpe. Become a punchline. TNN and Jim Thorpe, I think, take the most beatings on TV. Matt, any quick thoughts on this?
I thought we were going to see a match after this promo, and then we just don't. So this was just kind of weird to me. It was just more about showcasing that, hey, Elektra's with the Dangerous Alliance now, and she's fucking all of them. So fantastic. It's kind of all I got out of it. So,
last time, when she did the turn, I was like, okay, let's see what we got. Like, let's give her a shot. Let's see what she can do. Damn, Jenny, like not good. Like, this is lame. The crowd engagement was terrible. Like, who could be allowed? Like, come on, baby. This is ECW. We don't do this.
It's New Hampshire. People in New Hampshire don't scream.
It was highly embarrassing. Like, I had a lot of secondhand embarrassment for her during this. So just yep. It was kind of bad.
All right, well, we get a break. We come back. Joey's in the nest and sets up our next match, and that is Kid Cash taking on Little Guido. And of course, if Little Guido's here, that can only mean one thing for us. Time for the Italian lesson of the week. And this episode on the Italian lesson, we are going to pay tribute to one of the greatest Italian Americans in history, and that is Frank Caprio. And you know who Frank Caprio is?
I do.
Frank Caprio.
Yes, Jenny.
No.
Okay. Well, you're going to learn about him. He's an American judge and politician who served as the chief judge in the Municipal Court of Providence, Rhode Island, and chairman of the Rhode Island Board of Governors for Higher Education. His judicial work is televised on the local program Caught in Providence. Also made appearances in the series Parking Wars, where he adjudicated several cases of traffic violations. The Caught in Providence YouTube channel has 2.92 million subscribers. In 2017, his video in the courtroom went viral with more than 15 million views. By 2022, views of Caught in Providence neared 500 million, became well known for his empathy and light humor in court. Caprio served on the Providence City Council in the 1960s and unsuccessfully ran for lieutenant governor and attorney general. Caught in Providence aired from 1985 to 2023, began in 1988 on the local access television. Part of the proceedings which he presented were low-level citations, which, again, were more than 2 decades on local TV. The show was later picked up by ABC in 2000, airing late on Saturday nights. After a hiatus, Caught in Providence was returned in 2015, aired after the 11 o'clock news. Clips from the show went viral in the 2010s, like you said. Kind of started at YouTube and Twitter. I'm sure you've probably seen him. He's pretty well known, where he's a very compassionate and almost gives like life lessons, and then often would let the culprits off with a nod and a lesson versus a punishment, or he'd come up with like kind of like different alternative ways versus just like making them pay a fine or taking their license or whatever.
Okay.
He was pretty beloved in this area. December 6, 2023, he was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And he posted on social media from his hospital bed on August 19, 2025. He had a health setback, and the next day passed away at the age of 88. So he just had his funeral a couple days ago at the Cathedral of St. Peter and Paul in Providence on August 29th. And it was definitely kind of a big thing around here when he passed away. It was a big news story everywhere. So RIP to the good judge. Definitely, someone who grew up idolizing public access television in Rhode Island. Caught in Providence was definitely in the rotation for sure. You get to see him chatting it up with all the different violators. So
just breaking crimes. What kind of crime are we talking about? Like low level stuff? Like,
Yeah, it's mainly like parking citations and violations.
so there's a whole ass show about parking.
Look, Rhode Island's a small state, Jenny.
Is parking a big issue in Rhode Island?
Well, traffic violations as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Parking's a nightmare over here. Holy hell.
Yeah.
What's the wildest thing you remember from the show? Like,
I don't. I'd have to dig back. Honestly, it's been a bit since I've watched. To give you a specific example, I think if you searched them right now on Twitter or X or whatever, you'd find a bunch of clips and catch up on The Good Judge. I actually got pulled over yesterday, the first time in a while. I was going 40, I think 45 and a 25 is what he told me. But in Rhode Island, everyone knows someone, so I got off with just
Was it on the highway? Because the highway there is like 40 miles an hour, which is ridiculous. Makes me
No, I was going just a side street. It was 25, and I was going 45. But
that's fine.
I knew right away too because he did the U-turn over the double yellow.
Oh no!
So, but he was pretty cool. He was actually a pretty chill guy. So it was fine. I was like, I don't even have Judge Caprio anymore hanging around, so I got in trouble.
You would have been screwed.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been good. I wish I had him when I got my parking ticket. I mean, my speeding ticket back on my prom night, because that guy was an asshole. He took my license for 3 days and fined me, and I was like 18 or whatever. And he actually ended up getting cited for being overly harsh on young drivers and stuff. He's like the opposite of Caprio, that prick.
Jesus Christ.
Nobody will be sad when he dies.
No, hopefully he's already dead. Cash and Guido are in the ring. Sal's outside. As Joey says, this is a TV title tournament quarterfinals rematch. We start with some chain work. Joey says they barely squeezed Sal into New Hampshire. After the opening flurry encounters, Cash gets a tilt-a-whirl head scissors drop kick, kicks away in the corner. Cash flips Guido to the apron, slugs him to the floor. He regroups with Sal, but Cash barrels into Sal with a springboard plancha. Joey says Sal may have cracked the ice under the floor. Guido drags Cash back inside and pancakes him for 2. Cash recovers, leaps off the top, and Guido catches him in a Fujiwara on the way down, twists into a near fall. Guido and Cash trade chops. Guido twists into a back suplex for 2, stomps away. Cash comes back with a double springboard body block for 2, eats a knee on a charge. Guido drives him to the mat for 2. Cash shrugs off a monkey flip and a power slam for 2, but then gets into it with Sal. Sal snaps Cash across the top rope, and Guido hits a side Russian leg sweep, and then the elbow off of Sal's shoulder. Sal goes to the bottom rope and hits a splash. Guido hits a top rope splash, but Cash kicks out for a great near fall. Sal's back in the ring again, barking as Jazz comes in, jumps on Sal's back. Guido yanks her down and clotheslines her. Guido nails Cash with a back elbow, chops away, but Guido counters a suplex and gets the win with the Maratado. Jazz lays out Guido after the match with the Jazz Stinger, and that's that. So pretty fun. Guido grinds out another win, gets some help from Sal. Cash looks good. I thought he's recovered nicely from the broken jaw. Shows some good fighting spirit, but the wins just haven't really come for him yet. It's been more just his athletic feats. So I went 2 3/4, Jenny.
I'm a fan of his athletic feats, as we've discussed, and he really matches that feral energy that Guido likes to wrestle with. So I love watching them wrestle. It's always it's fun. Cash is just so good at bumping around. And his little leather pants. I don't know how he moves around in those fucking things. But he is balls to the wall. They both are, so it's a nice sprint. I like Cash kicking out of the splash. And I like the Jazz stuff too, because they've been kind of throwing her in at the end of these with this and the others. Curious where she lands. I mean, she has sort of beef with a couple different people. I'm not sure where Simon Diamond went, but and I like the win for Guido, so I did 2 3/4, Maddie.
Yeah, I went 2 3/4 on this too. I'm glad that Cash is finally getting some more airtime, because the guy deserves it. Between the match with Awesome at the pay-per-view and this, he's starting to really show out, and he's great. He's always been great, so that's been good to see. I really enjoy Sal basically being a human ring post these past couple of months, with Guido just fucking climbing him and diving on top of him. It's super fun, and because he's such a monster, so it makes perfect sense that Guido can just use him as a top turnbuckle. It's fantastic. So the Jazz stuff is interesting too. It seems like we're finally getting Jazz away from Simon Diamond.
Oh yeah, I know.
God, in a perfect world, Simon Diamond is gone too. But yeah, this was very fun. I'd like to see more of these two guys mixing it up rather than the same Guido versus Tajiri. Guido crazy every fucking week. Like throw a guy like Cash in there or Nova in there. Somebody different to switch it up a little bit. So,
and I feel like Guido too has been elevated nicely. Like. A little bit where when he loses a lot to like Crazy and Tajiri, but usually then with these other guys he wins now. Like he used to be kind of down with these guys, but now if he gets a Cash or one of these other dudes, like he's generally winning the match. He just hasn't really cracked that next tier up, even though they did put him in the semis and all that. So
go ahead.
Do we need to add somebody with him and Sal?
I don't know.
Would that make any sense? Do we have?
I mean, the tag division could use a team. So if you bring another guy like his size in, maybe, and let them work with Sal's a big guy, or even a chick. If you want to give him a Electra, actually would have been a good fit with him.
Yeah,
with the New Day because she's kind of got that like Staten Island vibe going on. Yeah. So like she could have probably been good with him.
Oh yeah.
Fuck it, bring Tommy Rich back.
Well,
or that JT Smith is probably somewhere.
JT Smith,
serving cheesesteaks, I'm sure in South Philly.
He's busy. He's busy tripping on a sidewalk somewhere.
Joey sets up our main event, which has been driven by fan demand, and that is Balls Mahoney taking on Rhino. Balls is in the ring. Rhino stalks down the aisle with Carino and Victory. Rhino slides in the ring, but Balls peppers him with punches and a back elbow. They spill outside where Balls bites Rhino, slams a soda across his face. Balls shoots Rhino back inside, snaps off a spine buster for 2, gets another near fall and a frog splash. Balls swats a Carino and Victory and then heads up but misses a leg drop and Rhino gores him. Carino sends a table into the ring. Rhino sets it up in the corner and slugs on Balls. Balls comes back with a short arm clothesline and super kick, and then grabs a chair, tees up, but Carino hooks the chair, and Rhino gores Balls through the wood for the win. You could say Balls are sprayed everywhere. Feisty little match. Balls got a lot of shine. Rhino and Carino were too much to overcome. Good brawl here with a lot of energy and pep. Jenny, 2.25 stars.
I mean, that's exactly what I had. A lively match. I feel like we were kind of disappointed the last couple times we saw Balls. So,
sorry, you're going. Sorry,
I did not think that sentence through. But I
wish you better luck in your future endeavor.
Yeah.
I love seeing Balls, but Rhino was gonna win this. There's not really much competition for Rhino, unless you count Super Crazy, and we will later. So I did the 2.5 on this, Matt.
Yeah, I went 2.5 on it to just another kind of fun, quick sprint for Rhino. They brawled around the ring, which was good. The frog splash was great. The gore through the table is always fantastic. So there wasn't much here, but what was here was good. So I went 2.5 on it.
All right. So from there, we go to something we haven't had in a bit. It's the return of Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Mike Awesome talks about all the Japanese fans and magazines being angry that he ran Tanaka back to Japan injured, and that Paul and the boys are pissed he took out Tommy Dreamer. But anyone who comes from that belt is trying to take food off his plate, so he'll kick their ass, and he's the undisputed heavyweight champion. The Impact players talk about being champions. Cyrus is dragging a cameraman to the locker room where a garbage can is tipped over and trash is everywhere. He says, "This is ECW. What the boys do in just 5 minutes." And says, "This is what fans want Cyrus to save by keeping them on TV. He wants to know why it's worth saving. Maybe I'm just not extreme or hardcore enough. And maybe the fans need to see what ECW is really about. Maybe I should just turn off the lights and show what's behind the facade. This is garbage, just like this is extreme." We got a Joey who's riffing with Paul as they're prepping, and Joey goes into a rant about Cyrus and how he has dealt with empty, abusive suits like him in corporate America and hated it. Paul tries to calm him down. Joey keeps going off until he realizes they're on the air. He goes to a loud, just completely bleeped out rant. Sinister Minister is in the locker room, wrapping up the episode with how proud he was of tonight's show. He had 6 of the 7 deadly sins, as no one's perfect, but next week they can add gluttony to make it a complete show. Francine is a little skinny these days, so maybe he can come up with something to shove down her throat. and he starts laughing like a maniac. And we pan over, and there's Mikey Whipwreck. His hair is disheveled, and he's laughing like a maniac as we fade out. Matt, any thoughts on Pulp Fiction?
It was good to see one of these again. I assumed we were done doing the Pulp Fiction thing because it had been, I think 7 years since we've seen one.
Feels like it.
Yeah, and especially like on hardcore TV when there's been episodes where we've been scraping for shit to find. Why not just throw one of these in there? Like it's such an easy, quick, fun watch. There was one part where the Impact players said a thing, and even if I was going to take notes of an Impact Players promo, which I would never fucking do, you couldn't make out what they were saying anyway because it was recorded in a fucking bathroom in Echoey. It was so fucking terrible. So it was, for that reason, maybe the most entertaining Impact Players promo in a long time, just because you couldn't understand them. So that was interesting. But Gluttony next week. Tune in.
Tuna in.
Tuna in.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Oh no. I had that same note, stupid players in an echo chamber, literally, because
It was awful.
you couldn't understand it, and they're saying the same shit that they always say. I'm like, okay, that was waste. Cyrus trying to be very, literal with the trash everywhere, and I don't know, he was trying to make a point, I guess, but it was fine. But for my money, the best part of this was Joey, obviously, because he is very upset. Like, he is very affected. I feel like he's our proxy, like as he typically is. And he's just tired of TNN. He's tired of Cyrus, and he just loses it. And I love it. Like, I love seeing that from him. And I really love that they just bleep out like a whole section of his promo. And he really gets into it. I feel like he's really good at that. So I was really excited to see that. And then, oh Lord, with Daddy Mitchell talking about shoving stuff down Francine's throat. I was like, okay. And then Mikey just laughing hysterically. So that was interesting as well. Not a bad Pulp Fiction, honestly.
And so we've been asking for some kind of gimmick or feud for Mikey for like 3 or 4 calendar years here. I think since like 96. So.
Yeah, really.
Yes.
I think D'Amato was still on the show. Last time Mikey had a feud.
Is his hair red now? Was it red last time we saw it? So that's too, but I'm
Looks
good.
like he's gonna be Minister's whatever.
Yeah.
Altar boy.
Yeah. I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hopefully
His
not.
can of tuna.
Oh boy.
Best match. I did go Impact Players Raven and Awesome.
I did Guido, I think.
Yeah, same. I went Guido and Cash.
Worst match, I went Loke and Willie, even though it's Steve Willie. Even though it's still pretty good.
Yep.
Best moments, I went Carino's promo. Not a lot cooking. I guess Pulp Fiction was good too, but
yeah, specifically Joey.
Yeah, I went with Carino.
Stock Rising, Awesome, and I'm sorry, most 2000s Chili Willie for me. He's
Chili.
a very 2000 guy right there.
Yeah.
Rising, Awesome, and Raven. I thought they had a good night in the ring, even with the storyline. Seeing them work together. The Impact Players, Joey, Sinister Minister. Falling, I gave Chili Willie just because he lost his first match with HP Loke. And then Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania, which continues just to get.
I would add the entire New Dangerous Alliance to
Fallen.
Yeah. They're falling? They get to see Electra's tits. I think they're doing okay.
Oh.
Hopefully they're rising.
Well, I mean, you don't know.
The whole internet can too. So
right.
Flaccid, but final grade, I went 6 out of 10. Felt kind of a standard hardcore TV. They actually got some original content the whole way through, which is good for them. But
I'm at a 6.5. I liked this episode.
Yeah, I went 6.5 on it too.
Well, I'll miss the Salem, New Hampshire Ice Palace or whatever it was.
That's the first time anybody's ever said they'll miss Salem, New Hampshire.
It was a nice week there. It's been a year there 1 week. All right, let's go to ECW and TNN, March 31st, 2000. We open with Joey Styles and Joel Gertner in the ring. We're in Kansas City. Crowd is insane. They take a shit on TNN right away, of course. They hyped their debut in Kansas City. Joel does his shtick, rips on TNN, says it's basically a dog shit network without ECW. Cyrus's voice echoes out. Joey and Joel promise they'll beat the piss out of him, but it was kind of mistimed because you missed Cyrus's joke and then he has to repeat it.
Mm-hmm.
So then he emerges with Tajiri and says, "Excuse me," or it's kind of with a bad accent. He's like, "Excuse me."
Oh my god!
And he says, "Didn't you know I spoke Mexican? Did you?" Cyrus tells Joel and Joey to back off. They oblige as Tajiri stalks them. So they were ready to kick the shit out of him, but as soon as he sees Tajiri, now they're backing off. The crowd is calling for Sandman. Cyrus says, "I am Network. I am the one that brings you Roller Jam. I am the Ayatollah of Rock and Bola," which is, of course, a play off of Chris Jericho, Ayatollah of Rock and Roll. Cyrus says they have a situation with TV champion Super Chico. He has been frustrated by letting the talent handle network business because they haven't got the job done. So tonight, the network and Cyrus will take control. He's a great luchador, and he can hit the plancas and quebradas with the best of them. And he will challenge Super Crazy and restore the belt to the network because idiots like Tajiri aren't getting the job done. Joey and Joel tell Tajiri what Cyrus said about him, and he turns and stalks at his boss. Cyrus barks into this complete bullshit Japanese and tells Tajiri if he hits Cyrus, he'll revoke his work visa and he'll be back to doing jobs to Abdullah the Butcher and thumbtack matches in Big Japan.
Wow.
Because Joel and Joey want him deported back into Japan. So Tajiri turns to them as they beg off, and Cyrus says, "Tonight the network takes control. I will don my tights and wrestle Super Crazy for the TV title." Jenny, what do you think of this opening segment? This was really like kind of Cyrus open mic for 5 minutes, but when they do that, it usually hits.
Yeah. I don't know. This was weird. I don't know who wants to see Cyrus wrestle. Do we? I would see him wrestle Joel. Okay, but like, I don't think anybody wants that or believes that will happen. It's just more flexing of him and his muscle and Tajiri by threatening Joel.
I do always pop when he just assumes Tajiri doesn't speak English and shit.
Yeah. Yeah, just a lot of more great heat on Cyrus's part, but I think that he would be insane if he tried to wrestle Super Crazy, Maddie.
The Ayatollah of Rock and Bola line fucking killed me. Just a fantastic line. Also, he can apparently snap his fingers and revoke work visas. That's a hell of a thing.
He's got a lot of power at TNN.
No shit.
It's such a worthless network.
TNN gives them a lot of fucking power. Holy God. The thing I'll say is this: as great as Cyrus has been, it's starting to get a little stale that every episode of TNN is starting the same way. Like, just 1 week start with a match just to mix it up a little bit. Because as soon as Joel and Joey are in the ring, Cyrus is going to come out at some point.
I think we've had one where he didn't, but every other one he has.
Yeah.
It's getting a little stale. I feel like they kind of need to switch it up just a little bit. But other than that,
we've talked about too with ECW, like when they're hooked in something, they are hooked in something.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
We're seeing it with Sinister Minister now. Like, he's all over the place. Like, we've seen it with Cyrus. Like, he's over. He's hot. Right. I think they're confident these two guys aren't going anywhere either. Like, everyone else leaves, but like, usually if they find a guy that they're confident, like Cyrus probably isn't going anywhere, is my guess. And maybe WWF could come calling again. But he's kind of been there, done that right now. Vandenberg, probably not going anywhere. He had a 3-year run in WCW for the most part. So, both guys seem safe probably to hitch a wagon to.
Right. So it's still good, but it's it's getting to the point where it's like 2000 Raw. You knew it was going to start with Triple H.
We've seen that even with stuff like Awesome Tanaka, which are great matches, but even those were kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Joey and Joel reset in the nest. Joel thinks something is up with Cyrus, and that something stinks. And it's not just the programming on TNN after ECW. Doring and Roadkill are backstage. They issue a warning to the Dangerous Alliance and Elektra. Doring says she's a used tissue in the peep show booth of life. Angel comes in behind them and says, "Has anyone seen Tommy Dreamer?" Doring says he doesn't know where he is. And Angel says there's a hit out on him and they're going to collect. And then he threatens Doring. And Doring says Angel should be more worried about me than Dreamer, and he clocks him. Grimes and DeVito come in, and the Baldies leave. Doring and Roadkill laid out. Any quick thoughts on that segment?
He also said old Lectra, which popped
Mhm.
me. Very funny.
Doring has shown more personality in the last like 3 weeks than he's
Mm.
shown throughout the rest of his career. So
Yeah.
where the fuck did this come from out of nowhere?
Electra was hiding him behind her tits.
Apparently.
Well, no, I mean, he's been doing this for a hot minute. You know, he's been getting his shit in where he can.
All right. So all that said, let's go to the ring as Little Guido is back with us to take on Tajiri. We head to the ring. The match is underway with some chain work. Tajiri dropkicks Guido in the dick on a leapfrog, chops away, but Guido catches Tajiri at a float over, pancakes him, comes back with a stun gun. Joey rips Tajiri for his association with the network. They spill out to the ramp. Tajiri crushes Guido with a hard head kick, follows with a snap suplex. Tajiri puts a table in the corner. Guido comes back to the ring with a slingshot leg drop and kicks away. Sal feeds him a chair, but Tajiri grabs it, throws it at Guido, who ducks just in time. Guido gets a spine buster for 2, follows with a seated drop kick for 2, rallies with a handspring. Tajiri rallies with a handspring elbow as we go to break. We come back. Tajiri's on a table. Guido is scaling Sal's shoulders, but Tajiri spews mist in Sal's face, and he pulls Guido down hard on the edge of the table. Tajiri then scoops up Guido, suplexes him onto the edge of the table, which doesn't break. Just 2 gross bumps by Guido.
Mhm.
Joel says he bet Guido wishes he was in WCW because then at least they'd be pre-cut tables. Tajiri lands a head kick and then hangs Guido in the trio. Whoa! Puts the chair in front of his face and kicks it right in his grill. Tajiri chops away. Guido counters a handspring into a neck breaker for 2, gets 2 on a Sicilian slice, tries a tornado DDT, but Tajiri blocks, puts him on top, and smashes him with a hard slap, and then finishes with a top rope brainbuster. Great stuff as always. A little short and compressed than their best work, but this had some nasty bumps and some different stuff. Guido really took a shit kicking. Got a couple good shots in as well, and the network gets the win as Tajiri's rolling. Man, I went 3 1/4 on this. Like it's short. They don't give it a ton of time, but man, it fucking hit the stuff that was there. So I really enjoyed this, and those table bumps were both gross.
Yeah, I mean, I went 3 1/4 on this too. They changed it up in this match, which I think was necessary. If you're gonna roll these guys out there to face each other for the 130th time in the last year and a half, like you got to start switching it up a little bit, and they did that, and it worked. And like you said, it's quick, but I think it was probably better for that, where they could just go out there, throw bombs, and then move on. The finish was sick. The brainbuster was nasty. That was a great looking finish too. The table stuff was also nasty. So yeah, I mean, these 2 guys, they know what they're doing. They know how to beat the hell out of each other, and it's always at a bare minimum very good. So 3 1/4 for me, Jenny.
Yeah, I'm at 3 on it. I really like the way that they have the aisle or the ramp set up. So there's like an extra like little spot there where they can throw people and fuck with them, like an extra little section there. And it really works for this because they utilize that area and they utilize those tables that don't break. It looks rough. But yeah, I mean they really do know what they're doing, like Matt said, and they know how to put on a fucking show. And I love watching them wrestle. So I'm at 3 stars for this one.
All right. Mike Awesome is backstage with Jeff Jones, gives it a generic warning. We then get the one wrestling replay of the finish of the match, and an elevator door opens, and there's Sinister Minister sitting in a dark hallway at a desk doing a tarot reading. The first card represents ECW. The second is a torrid romance of Raven and Francine. The third is the jealous rage of Tommy Dreamer. And then the Emperor, who wears no clothes, which is Paul needing to stop watching Dawn Marie videos late at night. The next card he pulls is the High Priestess, Dawn Marie. She's not high, she's just a ditz. The next card is a Page of Swords, but if Kimberly's not coming, they're not booking them. That was a funny line. The next card is the Queen of Cups, which is Elektra. As he knew once there was a B, but thanks to modern medicine, she's double D. The next card is Justice, where there's none in ECW, and that's why Cyrus works for TNN. The minister throws the cameraman out as he pulls his own card, and of course we see it's the devil. He's cackling, and we pan out, and there's Mikey laying under the table laughing and rolling around in hysterics under this table. So maybe he is an altar boy if he's under the priest's table. But Matt, any thoughts on the minister?
Listen, I don't know what the hell the point of this was, but it was fucking entertaining just hearing him do his thing. Like, just have him read from the fucking dictionary at this point. I don't care. Like, it'll be entertaining. Him calling Dawn Marie a ditz and telling, the Kimberly Page line was also great. So, yeah, I mean, just give him like a minute and a half every episode to just say something, no matter how fucking ridiculous it is, and I'm all in for it, Jenny.
I think him doing a tarot card reading is inspired. You know, if it's in with what the rest of his gimmick has been up to this point, and it's, you know, he gets to make his little shots. It's well done. He sells it.
Yep.
You know, my little goth heart loved this, and I would love for Daddy Mitchell to read my tarot cards at some point.
Yeah, and him being the devil is good.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All right, to the ring we go. As the Baldies are taking on Danny Doring and Roadkill. Looks like Joey says he's clutching his rosary beads and he plugs ECW racing merchandise, which will be available at Rockingham Dragway in North Carolina.
Jesus
What
Christ.
the fuck was that? Is that a thing?
I need to find out what
Wrestling
that is.
and race cars seem to be, especially WCW was big into the NASCAR partnership.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
So I guess ECW is getting involved. I don't know. After a break, Doring and Roadkill are in the ring. Doring says he wants us to be a Kansas City street fight, and Angel says Doring doesn't have the pull to make that happen. Plus, there's three Baldies and only two of them. Doring says Angel has a point and brings out a hardcore friend to help, and that's Tommy Dreamer. So now it is a 6-man tag match. Tommy power walks to the ring. Joey reminds us the Baldies tried to collect Raven's bounty on Tommy. All 6 brawl in and around the ring right away. We end up with Grimes working over Tommy in the ring. Tommy lands a boot to the groin, slices up Grimes with a pizza cutter. Angel comes in and cracks Tommy from behind, clubs away to knock him to the floor. Doring's in. He brawls with Angel as the others fight around ringside. Tommy gets crotched on the railing. DeVito uses a chair on Roadkill. Doring hits a G-spot on Angel, but DeVito slides in and hits a Uranagi. Roadkill heads up top and hits a huge flying clothesline into DeVito for 2, and then follows with a power slam and elbow off the middle rope as Tommy slides a table in the ring. Roadkill puts the table up and puts DeVito on it as Tommy suplexes Grimes on the ramp. Roadkill goes up top, but DeVito slides out of the way and he crashes through the table with a splash. Doring sets up a guardrail across the ramp and Tommy puts a ladder on the top rope. DeVito reverses a whip, shoots Tommy into the ladder as Angel assaults Doring. The Baldies whip Doring into the ladder and then Grimes slams Roadkill. The Baldies stand tall on their victims, but Roadkill, Doring, and Tommy all reach up and grab testicular claws. Tommy hangs DeVito in the tree of woe, stands on his dick, but Angel comes over and powerbombs Tommy for the save. Doring gets a bareback on Angel, and then him and Tommy seesaw the ladder into Angel and DeVito. Tommy bridges the ladder from the railing to the ring as Grimes slams Roadkill on the broken railing piece in the ring. Grimes goes up top, but Roadkill dodges. He bangs hard off the steel. Tommy then DDTs Grimes on the railing, and Doring and Roadkill finish with a top rope leg drop, big splash combo. So pretty hot brawl with some fun, crazy spots and an engaged crowd, plus the bounty stories hanging on as well. Looks like good stuff for TV. A nice elevation for the surging Roadkill and Doring, and kind of a classic ECW fuckfest, Jenny. I went 2 3/4.
It was pretty fun. The Baldies surprisingly efficient. Like they were actually wrestling and not just like falling from high distances. I like the ladder stuff. I like the guardrail stuff. Do we like Tommy working with Doring and Roadkill?
I think it elevates them like that.
I think so
He
too.
would come down.
Totally.
And I think it elevates the Baldies too. Like I don't think
so
it brings Tommy down. I think it makes them feel
right
like they're coming up.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Tommy is perfectly used here, and Roadkill. I just think he continues to like be so fun to watch. That fucking splash through the table was great. I'm at 3 stars, Maddie. I can't believe it. It's a Baldies match, and I'm talking about some 3 stars. Okay.
I mean, I went 3 stars on it too, so it's probably like the best Baldies tag match we've seen. I mean, and I like that we saw Doring and Roadkill here in a different type of match than we're used to seeing them. Like this felt like old school ECW, which we haven't really seen him do, which I think was a nice change. And Dreamer being there kind of helped him with that. I think that's part of the whole elevation thing you guys are talking about. Roadkill at one point crushes DeVito with a springboard clothesline. That I thought DeVito was dead because Roadkill just quite literally crushed him with it. So that was great. The railing stuff was great. The crowd was hot for it. So yeah, it's a fun brawl. And like I said before, like good to see that Doring and Roadkill are able to do different style of matches. Like just keep elevating them, see what else we can do. Hell, why not give them a tag title shot? Let's try that on for size and see what happens. So 3 stars for me.
All right, the TV champ is in the ring as Cyrus comes out and says it's time for the network to take control. And his favorite Mexican wrestler is Mil Mascaras. Cyrus also says that nobody in wrestling stands by a stipulation and says that things can change. So you don't get clean finishes on Nitro, and he's not going to soil his hands on Super Chico. And instead of Cyrus, Super Crazy's opponent, of course, will be Rhino. Rhino storms the ring. Joey says the network pulled a bait and switch. Only idiot really thought he was fighting Joey. Rhino hammers away but misses a charge, and Crazy takes him down, but Rhino pops up with a hard lariat. Rhino stomps away as Carino and Victory make their way out, handing Rhino a table. Crazy dodges a charge, barrels into Rhino with a springboard leg lariat to knock him outside. Crazy then pelts Rhino with a baseball side and flies into the crew with a top rope crossbody. Joey says they look like the pins on Rockin' Bull, but people are actually watching this show. Crazy slugs Rhino on the corner, gets a swinging DDT for 2. Crazy kicks away. Rhino pancakes him on a charge, lines up a gore that Crazy counters with a drop kick to the quad. Crazy hammers in the corner, but this time Rhino walks out with a powerbomb for 2, stomps away, hits a stun gun, hooks a chin lock, and the crowd rallies the champ. Crazy breaks the hold. Rhino clubs him down, and Victory and Carino land some punches. Rhino chops away, but Crazy fights him off and hits a springboard moonsault for 2. Crazy goes to a modified camel clutch, but Rhino fights him off and hammers on the back. Crazy scoots out of a powerbomb, but Rhino keeps him up on his shoulders, drives him through the table to running gore for a close near fall. Crazy sneaks out of another powerbomb, gets 2 on a victory roll. Rhino kicks Crazy hard and snaps him down with a powerbomb for a close near fall. Rhino then puts Crazy on the top rope, sets up another table under them before following up. Crazy punches him off and takes Rhino through the table with a sunset flip powerbomb and gets the clean win on Rhino, which is huge. Carino is in right away, batters Crazy with punches. Cyrus and Victory join in as well. Of course, Enter Sandman hits. Out comes Sandman through the crowd with his cane. Sandman fights off Carino and Victory. Canes Rhino twice, but he won't go down. That allows Carino to nail Sandman with a super kick. Rhino scoops up Crazy and drives him through Sandman and the table with a gore. Cyrus then says, before fans set their VCRs to Roller Jam, we'll get a 60-second PSA. And that's Rhino viciously beating Sandman with his cane, slicing him open and leaving him for dead before pouring a beer on him. And Cyrus says, nobody stands up to the network. Red hot match, nonstop, hard-hitting offensive pace. A good story, chaotic vibe. Both guys have been excellent in the feud. The fans have bought in. Crazy's clean win was massive. Like, that has not happened to Rhino much. I think he lost that debut match. I think it was for Dreamer or whoever he fought. Remember he first showed up in Detroit or whatever.
Yeah.
But since then he's been pretty protected. The post match was intense too, as Sandman took a real shit kicking. Again, this is getting a little repetitive, right? Where the network kicks the shit out of Sandman, comes to the save, gets a brief glimmer, and then they overwhelm him. So we'll see where it goes. But this view is roaring on. It's the center point of the promotion right now, outside of Tommy and Raven. This is really the big thing we got cooking. So Matt went 3.5 in the match, and a cool moment for Crazy.
Yeah, I went 3 1/4 on the match. It's a fantastic spot for Crazy to just beat Rhino clean like that. Like, that was very surprising to me. I didn't see that coming, and it was a great looking finish too. That sunset flip power bomb was fantastic looking. Speaking of power bombs, the power bombs that fucking Rhino killed Crazy with was in this match were gross and just great looking. So yeah, it's a really fun match, and I think the post match, to your point, it is getting a little repetitive, and I think like we're at a point now where we just have to do Rhino versus Sandman like sooner rather than later. Like, I feel like we've been building to this since like late last year at this point, and I think they've had one match on TV. So like it's time for just another singles match or something, just to not necessarily to blow it off, but just for something different besides, Sandman taking 10 minutes to come to the ring every time like he does. So it is a little repetitive. So, but I just kind of think until we get that match, this is kind of what Sandman's going to do. So I don't know, but 3 1/4 on the match for me. It's a very fun match and a huge win for Crazy. And I think this kind of helped legitimize Crazy, even though he's legitimized, it helped legitimize him more that he just beat Rhino clean in the main event of TNN. So 3 1/4 for me, Jenny.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Sort of RVD champ vibes from Crazy, having just really good TV title matches and just balling out with Rhino.
And it feels like this belt's going to Rhino at some point. Like, I thought this was
it, I would agree.
Because that RVD's coming back, and they have already started the RVD Rhino hype, right? So like, you got to figure at some point Rhino's taking this belt. This felt like the time that they do the bait and switch. They fuck around with Crazy, and then he loses. So when Crazy won clean, I was actually pretty surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Do we feel the bigger feud is with Sandman or with Crazy right now?
I feel like Crazy is more feuding with like the network. And Sandman is kind of more with Rhino.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Directly.
So I feel like we maybe.
Well, actually, Rhino's kind of Carino. I mean, Sandman's kind of Carino too after the pay-per-view. With Lori.
Yeah.
Because of the Lori stuff. Yeah.
I think it's both of them, honestly.
So we got some directions that we can go in. Do we want like a gimmick match with Sandman and Rhino, like a cage or something like that?
I feel like it's got to be something.
Cane match or something even. Yeah.
Like something kind of maybe different, like what we did with the bull rope with Dusty and Carino. Like something that, like you guys say, is not just Sandman coming down to save and then get caned ridiculously. But I did like this, and I'm at 3.25 on it as well.
All right. Best match obviously was that main event.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Worst, I had the Baldies tag, but again, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Best moment was that Crazy Rhino post match with Sandman.
Yeah, that was him drinking the beer and pouring it on Sandman.
Yeah, that was good too.
Most 2000s, Big Japan. I don't know if it's even
Yeah.
Abdullah the Butcher in Big Japan. Stock Rising, Cyrus to Jerry, Dreamer, Doring, Roadkill, Crazy, Rhino. Like they all had huge nights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Falling, I just went to Baldies since they took that loss. Lost their fight to New Jack. Then New Jack, they played like they're the fucking Super Bowl champions and kicked the shit out of him. New Jack can't. Anyone else, the Baldies were winless. I think. They would anybody else.
I would add TNN as a network to Fallen because they got verbally abused for an hour throughout this entire fucking episode.
How pissed are they? Like, they must be in such a tough spot because they got to be so like embarrassed. But on the flip side, I think ECW literally is their biggest rated show.
Oh, it has to be. Well, they're making fun of all their other fucking programming, but they're also good for us. So what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
8 out of 10 for me, though. This is a very, very strong episode.
Yeah, I'm at the 8 as well.
I went 8. Yep.
All right, let's wrap things up with the 4/1/2000 episode of Hardcore TV. We start right in the ring. You want this on TNN, Matt, but we're getting on Hardcore TV.
Well, it's close enough.
We're still in Kansas City. Nova and Chris Chetty are in the ring, and they're taking on the Impact players as Justin Credible comes out with Jason, followed by Lance Storm and Dawn. We get our opening animation. The crowd is all over the players. Credible threatens to leave. They start to walk out, but Nova demands they return. We finally get some rolling with some chain work and feeling out from Credible and Chetty. Get some double team from the challengers. Nova kicks away Credible. Storm comes in and mows him down with a lariat. Storm slugs away, grinds in Nova in the ropes. Jason lands a strike as well. Storm keeps hammering on Nova, cuts him down with a clothesline. Tags Incredible, peppers away. Credible chops away as the audio gets jacked up on this episode. It's kind of like we had one recently where it's this weird mix of live audio and then sweetening coming and going. It's kind of annoying. Credible hooks a chin lock, but Nova breaks free. As Credible rebounds with a swinging DDT. The Impact players load a table and a chair in the ring and backfires. Nova spikes Credible into the chair, makes a hot tag. Chetty cleans house on Credible, hits the Amityville Horror, but Storm makes a save. All four brawl until Credible accidentally super kicks Storm, and he flops to the floor. Chetty hooks a backslide. Nova whiffs on a super kick. Credible topples through anyway. Dawn makes the save. Jazz is in to take her out. Jason comes in but misses an enziguri. Eats a Jazz stinger. Credible slides in and plants Jazz with That's Incredible. Nova comes in with a swinging DDT. Storm breaks a waistlock with a low blow. Nova drop toe holds him into the table. Chetty flies off the top, but Storm dodges and Chetty flies through the wood, and the players finish with a spike pile driver. This is fine. It was a little clunky. Not as smooth as the players usually are. Nova still cooks, but Chetty is just not progressed at all. He's still sloppy and off in anything he does, honestly. The end picked up a bit as it got hectic, but it wasn't their best work. The players retain and move on. Nova needs something else besides Chetty.
Yep.
2.25 from me, Matt.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I went 2.25 on this. This, especially the beginning, this felt very like house show type of match to me, and I don't know, it was missing something. There's still that level of sloppiness to Chetty too, and I'm starting to think that this is just who he is at this point. And like, I feel like before the knee injury, he was starting to kind of get better in the ring, and then the knee injury happened, and it's like he just forgot how to be smooth in the ring. It's just fucking weird. And I felt like because of that, Nova was also off a little bit in this match too. Like it was almost like Chetty was bringing him down besides too. So yeah, it's not the best showing. So I did still go 2 1/4, same as you, but yeah, just a rough showing for everybody involved. Very felt very like house show type of match, Jenny.
Yeah, 2 1/4 for me as well. I think Chetty should have been the one getting his ass beat for the majority of this match, and he
They probably just didn't want him in the ring. Well, at least Nova can sell.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Like, but I just poor Nova. You know, he
Yeah.
took most of that,
Totally.
and he's just better than that. I think the ref that we saw earlier tonight is a little bit better than Chetty as well, or perhaps Chilly Willy. So it was a little bit of a rough watch. I do like Jazz, you know, coming in and stuff, and there was a nice tornado DDT by Nova that he managed to eke out, but this was not my favorite that I've watched tonight.
All right. So we get Joey back in the nest, and he hypes up the big live events coming with WrestlePalooza, not in Indianapolis, and CyberSlam, plus a huge TV taping in Buffalo at the Flick on April 8th, which will see the debut of the former Scotty Riggs and the return to TV of Rob Van Dam. And then speaking of RVD, we get a music video for him. Carino and Jack Victory head to the ring as Joey hypes the Flick again. Carino grabs the mic and shits on Kansas City, but says they do have a history of old school wrestling, but the king of old school here tonight is going to make a difference and stop the hardcore crap. Months ago, he made it his mission to take out the original hardcore legend, Dusty Rhodes, and he beat that old fat man around the building at Living Dangerously. He steps to HG Loke and says a pissant ref got in his way yet again, and he knows it's 2000 and everyone wants to get themselves over, and Loke is doing a great job at wrestling school, but Carino's sick of Loke sticking his nose in his business, and one of these days he's going to wrap the bull rope around his head once more and show that he's the future of wrestling and a god in this business. Loke says if Carino wants to get in his face, he'll kick his ass tonight, just like Dusty did. Carino asks the fans if they want to see Loke kick his ass, and they're all in. And Carino says, being the great baby face that I am, I'm going to give the fans what they want. And that's going to be a match in a moment, Jenny. What did you think of the promo?
Oh, man. Carino just won't let it go with old Tone Loke over here. He got embarrassed last time with the Chilly Willy. So, sure. I mean, yeah, we'll do this. I don't know. I'm sure it'll be fine, Maddie.
And that's the thing is, like I said earlier, like if anybody is going to make this wrestling referee thing work, it's going to be Carino at this point. So like, I'm kind of into it. And he just continued. The interview was kind of just like a rehashing of what we saw on TNN, but it was still fucking good because like Carino was still able to switch up enough of it where it's like just insulting him in a different way, calling him a pissant, shit like that. Like it's super entertaining. So I think there's a real possibility that Carino's going to make this thing work and that he's going to get a fucking wrestling referee over in ECW. What a world.
Well, here we go. Steve Carino versus H.G. Loke. Victory attacks Loke from behind. Carino stomps away. Jim Molyneux's in the ring. The match is on. Carino hammers away and bitches at Molyneux, but Jim shoves Carino and Loke gets 2 on a roll-up. Carino is up with a lariat. More punches and a suplex for 2. Carino dumps Loke outside. Victory chokes him with the bull rope. Loke comes back with a sunset flip attempt. We get Carino's ass, but he blocks it with a punch. Joey says he wishes Loke was wrestling Dawn, Francine, or Jazz tonight instead. Of course, Carino stomps away. Loke turns around, lands some chops, and gets a boot up on a charge. Carino snaps him over with a power slam for 2. Loke hooks a sleeper, but Carino breaks it right away. Loke hits the shoulder block, gets woozy, and falls into Carino's balls. After a break, Loke shoves Carino off the top, follows with a frog splash. Victory saves, slams Loke, tosses Carino the bell, and he smacks Loke with it. Drops the bionic elbow, but Dusty Rhodes is here.
What?
I'm back. My son said I could come back. He's escorted to the ring by 2 young women and cleans house on Carino and Victory and puts Loke on top of Carino for the win. And then Dusty and the Broads celebrate. Fun match and segment. Carino does his best old school heel broomstick match into the shock finish. It was also good to see Dusty. I thought he was done.
I know.
Living Dangerously, so we'll see how long he's around. Loke has some promise. Like, I think he's been okay.
Yeah.
We'll see if that goes anywhere. And good stooging for Carino as always. The loss does not hurt him in any way, Jenny. It went 2.5 stars, and it was a fun little segment.
Yeah, again, I ended up being super surprised by this. And they full out blocked out Carino's ass. It wasn't just like a little he must have a Tommy Dreamer size caboose
Yeah.
because it was a whole block for his ass. I don't know, that popped me so hard. Um but again, I thought that this ended up being pretty good, and I was shocked when Dusty came out. I had no idea he was going to come back for this ref guy. Like this ref, he's like, "What? I'm working with Dusty Rhodes all of a sudden? Like that's
Right.
amazing."
Pretty crazy.
So it ended up being really fun, and you said Dusty and the Broads, and that's exactly what it was. It was like he was banging them both in the back, and then he's
Not
like,
quite Sweet Sapphire, but I got to do something.
he's like, let's go out and fix this. So, wow, just an unexpected fun. 2.5 stars, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I went 2.5 on it too. Was not expecting Dusty Rhodes to show back up in this, but it was great. I gotta help HC Loke, baby. He needs my help. So he continues to be super impressive. This fucking referee who came out of nowhere is all of a sudden fucking beating Steve Carino on syndicated television. It's fucking wild. And you know, Carino is bulletproof at this point, so he can eat this loss. It really doesn't matter. But man, it's super fucking entertaining. And like the bell shot, to Loke was also sick. So it's like, I don't know. This was maybe we're collectively overrating it, but fuck, it was fun as hell. So
Maybe
no, it's
we
fun.
are.
Look,
2.5
great at these old school angles. Dusty's always fun, and Loke's been fine, like in all of this. So
yeah.
All right, we go right back to the ring as Mike Awesome is here and Kid Cash is in the ring. So that's our ECW World Title match. It looks like Awesome's out with Jeff Jones. He meets Cash head on with punches. Cash fights him off. Awesome plants him with a shoulder block, catches Cash on a leapfrog, sends him sailing with a belly to belly. Awesome hits a splash, but Cash rallies, tries a crucifix, but Awesome slams back through for 2. Awesome shoots Cash hard to the floor, follows out. Cash fights back again, slings Awesome to the fans, meets him with an insane somersault plancha off the top in a big dive. Both men head back inside where Awesome meets Cash with a slingshot shoulder block. Awesome hammers at Cash and hits a running avalanche and a big leg drop for 2. Cash gets a springboard body block, but Awesome shoves him off and mows him down. Awesome hits a lariat, but Cash ducks another one, hits Jones on the baseball side, and it gets a top rope Rana. Cash tries another Rana, but Awesome counters to a big power bomb, heads up top, and it's an Awesome splash for 2. Jones feeds in a table as Cash eats a big boot on a charge, and then Awesome snaps into the table with a power bomb for the win, and another massive spectacle squash for Awesome that never get old. He's always fun to watch him murder people with reckless violence. Complete monster. Cash made his moment count too. He looked great while he was out there. Fun match as Awesome continues to bounce around the roster, just piling up these bodies on TV and pay-per-view. So Matt, I went 2 3/4. That was a fun little match. Good. Anytime you get the world champion on TV kicking the shit out of someone, it's always a good time.
Yeah, I went 2.5 on it. It's your fairly standard Mike Awesome beats the shit out of random wrestler X on TV. It's always super entertaining. It's always super fun. I'm glad it's Kid Cash, and Cash continues to get these big fucking spots because, again, like I said earlier, he deserves it. He's great. So the match at the pay-per-view was great. This one I think was probably a little bit better. So good on Cash for that. But yeah, I mean, ultimately it was Mike Awesome killing another fool in the ring for our enjoyment. So 2.5, Jenny.
I don't know. I feel like Mike Awesome's going to be our champ until this promotion ends because I don't know who the fuck else is going to come out unless RVD post injury can do it, which I don't know. He's supposed to come back soon. Seems like too soon. But this was great. Everybody loves Cash. He takes this beating so well, and Mike Awesome delivers it so well. The crowd loves it. This is great stuff. I did 2 3/4 as well.
All right, so we get some highlights from TNN of Crazy and Rhino, and then we wrap up our last episode. Best match for me was that main event, Awesome and Cash.
Yes.
Worst match, I went Impact Players, Shetty and Nova.
Yep.
Yes.
Best moment, the return of Dusty.
Yep.
Most 2000, there's not a lot, so I just went like Dusty with random hot chicks for no reason. I feel like he does that in TNA as well later.
He 100% does, yeah.
And like his entire career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No baby doll. Stock rising with Impact players. Carino, awesome. Cash.
Loke.
And Luke,
Yeah,
our
Loke.
buddy.
Yeah,
Yes.
Steve too.
Home Luke.
Falling, I went with Chetty, and then the audio on this one was really annoying.
Oh yeah, the audio is
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
And they use that same sweetening on everything
Mhm,
on these
yeah.
ECWs on the cock, and probably from the network days.
Right.
They don't even mix it up. It's the same loop
Mhm.
for entrances, matches.
Yep,
They've used
totally.
like 5 years. It's that same like screech that they. It's
Yeah.
like every 30 seconds. It's
Yeah.
It's like no matter what. So anyway, it's annoying. 5.5 out of
is.
10 though for me. I mean, it was an okay episode. A little behind the last hardcore TV.
Yeah, it definitely was behind. I'm gonna do the 5.5 as well.
Yeah, I went 5.5 on it too.
All right, that'll do it. Well, thank everyone for joining us here tonight. We'll be back in 3 weeks with 3 more episodes of ECW Television as we head to our next pay-per-view in May, and in our final months covering ECW. Another month down in March. We're now in April, so what do we got? Like 8 months of shows left, pretty much.
8 months.
I was told
So-
there would be no math.
I'll double check with Chad tomorrow to make sure my math's right.
Yeah, please do.
All right, that'll be it. Subscribe. Thank you. Like, comment. We appreciate everything. Stay hardcore. Stay extreme. We'll talk to you later.